Welcome to my journey through the Bible. This will be applications you can apply to your life and a little more in depth about the chapter. We are in Leviticus 2 1 through 16. A meat or grain offering was any kind of food, and this was usually brought along with a burnt offering as well. It was a way to give thanks to God. And part of this grain offering was burned in the fire on the altar for the Lord, and part of it stayed with Aaron and his sons. The priests were spending all of their time taking care of the tabernacle and doing all of these burnt offerings to atone for the people's sin. And they didn't have time to go out and work in the field or go hunt for their food. So the meat offering was a way for the priests to get their nourishment, as well as still keep up with all that the people needed from them in the tabernacles and in atoning for their sins. This is why ministers are paid today. Now, there are some ministers that they work a full-time job and then they minister. There are some ministers that do nothing but work for the church and the needs of the church. And if you want your priest to be at every curve and turn of your life and the church's life, you need to make sure that you pay your preacher enough to support their family. We do not work for free. We should not expect our ministers to work for free. Now, this food was made with fine flour, and it was made with oil and frankincense. Frankincense was a type of spice, and this spice was actually given to Jesus Christ when he was born. So it is given as gifts as well. All the food was made without leavening, without yeast. Yeast is what makes our breads and our cakes rise. When the Israelites had left Egypt, they left with unleavened bread, meaning they didn't have time for it to rise. They had to leave, and this unleavening became a sign or a symbol of sin for them. Now, Jesus warned that the leavening of the Pharisees and the Sadducees, that is in Matthew 16:6 and Mark 8:15. Sin is like leavening. You cannot just put a little bit there. It leavens the whole thing and it spreads. So like sin, you can't just have a little bit of sin in one spot. It spreads to the whole body. And when the body is full of sin, it spills over onto others in our life and around us. We are also called the salt of the earth. That is in Matthew 5:13. Salt gives season and flavor to all kinds of food, and it is used to preserve food as well. So don't be salty. We are to be the light of the world and spread the word of God. We cannot overpower people or force God onto people. The only thing we can do is share the word of God and let them know what God has done in our lives. And it's their choice. We have to allow them to make that choice. It is kind of like the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So you can give the word, but you cannot make people accept it. We can plant the seed, we can water it, but God has to allow it to grow. May God be with you in everything and in every way.